Grand Seiko has been on a roll. Over the last 10 years, they've become one of the most loved watch brands in the world. And there is no better place to buy one than right here in Tokyo. But where should you go? This is where to buy a Grand Seiko in Tokyo. If you have ever been, you already know it. Nothing beats exploring Tokyo. But it can be at times overwhelming. So to help you find your dream Grand Seiko, I've divided this guide into 3 sections. First, I will show you all the official Grand Seiko stores you need to know, selling the brand's latest releases and Japan-exclusive limited editions. Then, we will check out the dealers with the best prices on popular second-hand modern models, Shunbuns, Snowflakes, etc. Lastly, we will dive deep into Tokyo's fascinating vintage Grand Seiko scene, where you can find everything from affordable starter pieces to rare collectible grails. It is a lot to cover, so let's get started. Your first stop should be the Ginza Boutique flagship. The store has the standard collection as well as the most limited editions worldwide. So if you're looking for a little something special to bring back from your trip, this is where you should go. This shop might be small, but they get boutique exclusive that you can't buy anywhere else, Ginza exclusives and no global limited editions, as well as the regular collection, of course. This SBG 313 GMT is a Ginza exclusive, for example. Sporty Grand Seikos are quite large, and the purple is not for me, but I want you to look at the dial. On it, you see the iconic grid map of Ginza. This has become the signature of most Ginza exclusive models, available tax-free for $5,500. This global limited edition Tentagraph is a bit more up my alley. It is nicknamed Sunrise due to its warm color scheme, and it has the famous Mounty Wate texture on the dial. Unfortunately, at 43mm, it's a bit too big for me. It is also quite expensive at $17,200, but in the US it goes for $22,600, a whole $5K more. They also have normal production models like the UFA SLGB 003. UFA stands for Ultra Fine Adjusted, increasing accuracy of the spring drive movement to plus-minus 20 seconds per year. Its dial is inspired by Japan's frozen winter forest in the north. It costs $8,620, $3K lower than elsewhere. Another great place to buy new Grand Seikos is Seiko House, also known as Wako, Grand Seiko's flagship here in Ginza. This building is Seiko history. It is the location where Seiko's founder opened his first watch shop in 1881. It was then built in this Art Deco neoclassical style in 1932, becoming one of Tokyo's most important and recognizable landmarks. Like the boutique down the road, they also have their own exclusive, Ginza exclusives, as well as everything else. This is the Wako exclusive SBGH 241. It looks quite simple, but it stands out for its brigade numerals. Grand Seiko reserves them for Wako exclusives, so they've sort of become their signature. It costs $4,550. They also have the Ginza exclusive SBG 313 GMT we have already seen at the boutique. Wako and the boutique are the 2 main locations included when you hear Ginza exclusive, priced $5,500 here as well. But the model that captured my heart was this rose gold SBGH 368. It is not a limited edition, but it is beautiful. The lightly frosted champagne dial is inspired by Sakura Kakushi, when cherry blossoms get covered by snow in the northern Tohoku region. Precious metals Grand Seikos are not cheap, and this is no exception at $25,250. Really expensive, but still a whole $7K cheaper than in the US. Like for Seiko, a great place to buy new Grand Seikos are department stores like Yodobashi and Big Camera. You will get a 10% tax-free with an additional 5% tourist discount. As you have seen, you save a good amount by buying new Grand Seikos in Japan, but if you want the very best deals, you will need to look at the grey market. Second-hand modern Grand Seikos in Japan are generally in great condition, sometimes completely new. Although prices have increased in the last few years, the best place to find them remains Nakano Broadway. This small retro mall is a legendary watch hunting spot with dozens of welcoming watch shops all next to each other. Kamikichi is one of the big shops here in Nakano Broadway. They have a bit of everything, but they really shine with their Grand Seiko selection. Just as you enter on the right, they have a display completely dedicated only to Grand Seiko. They often have many of the models people are looking to buy while visiting Japan, like the Spring Drive Power Shunbun. This is Grand Seiko's hottest model right now, and definitely the most loved. It has a warm grey texture dial that changes color depending on the lighting, inspired by fallen cherry blossoms floating on water. This one costs around $5,200, $1K cheaper than in the US. The Lexua is also really popular. Also powered by a spring drive movement, it has a deep blue dial with gentle ripples made to emulate the waves seen before dawn on the surface of Lake Suwa, the lake near Grand Seiko's Shinshu studio in Nagano Prefecture. It is my favorite blue dial and it goes for $7,400, 2K cheaper than global comparables. This is the high-beat green birch, another top modern model. The forest green dial has a vertical texture that replicates the bark of white birch trees that surround the Shizuku-ishi studio in Iwate. It is really beautiful and it can sometimes almost appear dark blue. It also comes in white and black, for sale at $6,500. Just down the hallway from Kamekichi, you will find Time Zone, an incredibly underrated watch store that has quietly become one of the best used Grand Seiko dealers, with many hard-to-find models. This is the SBGH 315, a 2023 Ginza limited edition featuring a vibrant blue dial with a square pattern for $4,500. They also had an SBGA 503, another Ginza exclusive but from 2024, with a really bright yellow texture dial for $5,400. On the more traditional side, here is the ever so popular Shunbun for $5,150. And this one is a bit of a throwback. It is the original Snowflake with a double logo on the dial before Grand Seiko's spin-off in 2017. It has a busier design, but kind of iconic for $3,250. Right around the corner from Time Zone, there is Bretsu, a great shop with a small curated Grand Seiko selection. It is particularly good for Shunbuns. They always have a few. These were going for $4,800, but this footage is a bit old. Now I would expect them to be just over $5,000. And don't sleep on Jack Road next door, the most famous second-hand watch shop in Japan. They've been slowly building the Grand Seiko's offering, so give them a visit. To prove I put my money where my mouth is, this is where I recently bought a used Grand Seiko myself, the SBGK 017 for $3,600. People always say that Nakano has become touristy and overpriced, and this is partially true compared to 10 years ago, but if you know what to look for, you can still find great deals here. Now, it's finally time. Let's jump into the rabbit hole, vintage Grand Seiko. To fully understand this market, we need to quickly talk about the brand's history. Grand Seiko was originally launched in 1960 as the high-end line of Seiko. Although internationally it never got the recognition it deserved, it made some of the most accurate and beautiful watches of its time. It was unfortunately shut down in 1976 as the quartz crisis eliminated the need for expensive mechanical watches, before being brought back in 1998 in its modern form. When you hear vintage Grand Seiko, we are generally talking about the pieces produced between 1960 and 1976. Now that we've cleared that up, the vintage dealers that you're about to see are the best places in the world for vintage Grand Seiko in ascending order of price and rarity. For some of the most affordable Seikos and Grand Seikos in Tokyo, look no further than Mitsutani Camera in Ueno. This small family-run shop is a Seiko fan's favorite. It is the perfect place to get your first vintage Seiko, but in the window display on the outside, you will also find good deals on Grand and King Seiko, another historic line between Seiko and Grand Seiko quality-wise. They have some really funky designs, particularly in the early 70s, like this King Seiko Vanak from 1972. It is really unique. It has an octagonal case, a blue sunburst fume dial, scored indices, and a faceted crystal. It is not an easy watch to pull off, but it is really fun for $800. Back to Grand Seiko, this is a classic. It is a 1970 4522 8000, a simple date watch part of the 45GS family, a group of watches from the late 60s and early 70s equipped by the same high-beat manual movement using some of Grand Seiko's best models, like the Imperial and the Astronomic. I've always liked this sharp case and its blocky lugs, for sale for $1,550. Next is Vintan, and although not a Seiko or Grand Seiko specialist, they have a pretty sizable collection with interesting pieces at great prices. This underrated vintage watch store is located all the way up on the 7th floor of the Hankyu Men's department store in Ginza. They definitely stock more Seikos, but they also often have a few interesting Grand Seikos in the display cabinet in the middle of the store. Like this Grand Seiko First from 1963. As the name suggests, this was the first Grand Seiko ever released. It is plated with a thick layer of 14K yellow gold, and it has a really simple and elegant design. Due mainly to its historical significance, it has become an important and collectible model. This one is just under $4,000. And after the first came the Grand Seiko Cycle. This one is special though. It is the reference 5722-9970, made exclusively for Toshiba to be gifted to employees celebrating 25 years of service. You can recognize it by the writing on the case back. I really like its simple stainless steel design, and it is substantially cheaper than the first. It costs only $1,150. Just so you know, while filming this, I actually ended up buying a vintage Grand Seiko. This 1969 Batwing reference 4520-7000 for $870. I've already talked about it in episode 7 of Watch Hunting in Japan, so I'm not gonna cover it again, but visit Vintan, you won't regret it. Located in the beautiful backalley of Ginza, Watch City has an incredible collection of Seikos and Grand Seikos. This small underground store can definitely be considered a collector's spot, with many rare pieces you will not find anywhere else. They specialize in vintage Japanese watches, and their Grand Seikos are all on the wall at the back of the store. This is a really unique model. It is the 6145 8050, a watch released in 1973, when Grand Seiko started experimenting a bit more with its designs. It has a green fume dial that looks more like something you'd find back in City, but is otherwise very classic, priced at $3,150. They also had this beautiful 18K yellow gold 5645 7005 from 1972. It has a delicate linen texture dial that has developed this really even champagne patina that complements the case perfectly. I think it is as beautiful as the dials on modern Grand Seikos. There is also a time-only version of this watch that I like even more, but I could not find it. This stunning piece is $4,500. Five Kids is one of the most loved watch stores in all of Tokyo. They're famous for their collection of vintage Japanese watches, in particular their Seikos and Grand Seikos. It is located on the first floor of Nakano Broadway, so you cannot miss it. They have everything from affordable Seikos to the rarest Grand Seikos ever made. They recently had for sale two grail pieces, the Seiko Astronomical and the Grand Seiko 6185 8010. It is really the perfect place to start your vintage Grand Seiko journey. This is a 1961 Grand Seiko First, a simple refined watch that kicked off Grand Seiko in 1960. There are many different variations of it, mainly hinging on the dial's logo and indices. This specific example is an earlier version, and as such, it is considered collectible, so it has a bit of a premium at $4,500. On the more affordable side, we have a 4520 7000. This is the blue dial version of the Grand Seiko I recently bought for myself. This model, nicknamed Batwing for its shape, is really unique. It has a sharp geometrical case that truly embodies the design philosophy of Seiko's legendary designer Taro Tanaka. The blue dial is the most desirable of the bunch, costing $1,520. And I saved the best for last. The exclusive time anagram in Ebisu has some of the rarest watches in all of Tokyo, including Seiko and Grand Seiko. They usually do not allow filming inside, but today I've been granted special permission to show you their incredible watches. And as you can see, they do not mess around. This appointment-only dealer is a place for serious collectors. These are some of the coolest and most coveted watches in the world. These two are 61GS VFAs from 1969 and 1972, Grand Seiko's finest. VFA stands for Very Fine Adjusted, which means they were calibrated to an accuracy standard of plus/minus 2 seconds per day. For comparison, the Swiss COSC equivalent standard back then was only -1 plus 10 seconds per day. The one on the left is a rare early pre-VFA, without the VFA acronym on the dial, while the right one is a later, slightly more common model. They're both exceptional pieces, for sale at $16,700 each. But this one is even better. This is a 1969 6145 8030. Fewer than 200 examples were ever made, and even fewer survive today, as many were melted for scrap gold value throughout the 80s and 90s. It has a curved 18K yellow gold case with an artisanal hand-hammer texture. The dial also features a unique starlight finish, something found on very few Grand Seikos. It is in perfect mint condition. This grail will set you back $19,700. So these were my favorite places to buy Grand Seiko in Tokyo. Buying a Grand Seiko here can be a really special experience, one that can last a lifetime. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to leave a like and subscribe for more watch-ons and guides.